Barcelona bounced back from defeat to Osasuna last time out in some style with a comfortable victory over Young Boys to get their Champions League campaign up and running. Robert Lewandowski gave Barca the perfect start, opening the scoring after just 8 minutes before 2 goals in 3 minutes from Rafinha, and Inigo Martinez finished off Young Boys before halftime. More goals followed after the break, with Pedri running the show and looking a real magician in midfield, Rafinha continuing his brilliant early season form and Robert Lewandowski adding a double to make it 9 this season already. It was the perfect response to the disappointment of losing to Monaco last time out and stands the team in good stead ahead of their next Champions League encounter against Flick's former team Bayern. And as both Hansi Flick and Rafinha pointed out after the match, it was important to rack up the goals in the new Champions League format, with goal difference potentially set to play a key role. Yamal was withdrawn from the routine 5-0 Champions League win against Young Boys, with 15 minutes still left on the clock. The young wonder kid looked agitated as he left the pitch, but head coach Hansi Flick has defended his decision to replace 17-year-old with Frankie John. Speaking after the match in Spain, Flick said, "We have to start the game stronger with our passes and improve the team's dynamic a little. It has improved as the minutes have passed. We don't have just one player, but several. There may be changes. We cannot take into account whether a player wants to continue playing or not." Real Madrid are gearing up for their UEFA Champions League away match against Lille with a significant milestone within reach. The Spanish Giants are on the brink of equaling one of their club's most impressive records in the competition. They have currently gone 14 consecutive matches without a defeat in the Champions League, and a win or draw against Lille would allow them to match their best ever streak of 15 unbeaten games. If Real Madrid manage to extend their undefeated run against Lille, they will then have the chance to surpass that record in their upcoming matches. Italy captain Gianluigi Donnarumma was beaten in the air by Arsenal forward Kai Havertz for the Gunners' opening goal against PSG in Tuesday night's Champions League clash at the Emirates. The former Milan stopper came to claim a delightful Leandro Trossard cross, but was beaten to it by the German, who managed to outmuscle the Azeri goalkeeper in the air in the process of getting his head to it. Arsenal went in at halftime as 2-0 leaders over the Parisians. Fellow Italy international Riccardo Calafiori also started at left-back for Mikel Arteta's side. Donnarumma was also not at his best for Arsenal, second scored by Bukayo Saka, England international's long-range free kick, which was intended as a cross, went straight in the back of the net pass, even though it travelled right in front of the Italian. Pedri, meanwhile, was equally impressive. The young midfielder has regained his best form, and it was clear that he was enjoying every moment on the pitch. His performances have not only been filled with creativity and flair, but he has also orchestrated the team's play with pinpoint precision. Pedri came close to scoring as well, but a fortunate deflection left the ball for Rafinha to finish off. In recognition of Rafinha's outstanding contribution, Pedri, who was named man of the match, humbly handed the honour to his Brazilian teammate. The crowd at Montjuic responded with chants of Rafinha's name, acknowledging his vital role in the victory. Barcelona's overall performance was one to remember, with both Rafinha and Pedri leading the way in, a dominant display that underlined their attacking prowess. The England captain hobbled out of Bayern's Bundesliga draw with Bayer Leverkusen on Saturday after suffering an ankle injury. He trained on Tuesday morning and travelled with the squad to Birmingham, but a final decision will not be made on his fitness until later today. Bayern boss Vincent Kompany said, "I think you have seen he was on the pitch today. Training went well. We will still have to wait until tomorrow to see how the situation is, and tomorrow we will make the correct decision. He trained today and hopefully everything will work out fine." Borussia Dortmund fans have made their opposition to Champions League reforms clear, with a huge tifo blasting European football's governing body UEFA headed their one-sided 7-1 win over Celtic. The supporters displayed the words UEFA MAFIA behind one of the goals before Tuesday's match against Scottish team Celtic, above a banner saying, "You don't care about the sport, all you care about is money." Another banner above showed a website link making clear the banners referred to Champions League reforms. 3-1 win over VfB Stuttgart at home ensured that Real Madrid started off the UEFA Champions League campaign on the best note possible. The game against the Germans was a tricky affair, with Los Blancos being under pressure for a greater part of the game. The scoreline, in that sense, is misleading, as it was only an 83rd minute strike by Antonio Rudiger that created the decisive gap. Later tonight, the men in white take to the field again in the Champions League, this time away from home at Stade Pierre-Maury against LOSC Lille. The two teams have never met before in Europe, as was the case between Stuttgart and Real Madrid, and it will be interesting to see how matters proceed on the night. After all, Los Blancos are coming fresh off a setback in the derby. Former Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp has once again made his position clear regarding any potential role with the German national team. After his departure from Liverpool at the end of the 2023-24 Premier League season, speculation has swirled around his next move, particularly regarding the managerial vacancy for Germany. However, during a ceremony in Berlin, where Klopp was awarded the prestigious Order of Merit of the Federal Republic of Germany, the celebrated coach put to rest any rumours of taking over from Julian Nagelsmann. Eduardo Camavinga is all set to make his return on the pitch in a Champions League clash against French side Lille. Turkish wonderkid Arda Güler also earns a spot in the starting 11 as suggested by the reports. The European Kings Real Madrid will face French side Lille in their second match in the new format of the UEFA Champions League. As per the various reports, Carlo Ancelotti will play a 4-4-2 formation featuring Turkish talisman Arda Güler and promising French prodigy Eduardo Camavinga. As highlighted by Fabrizio Romano, the player that Hansi Flick seems to be paying special attention to in terms of his return from injury is 20-year-old Gavi. In fact, Flick's words about him clearly show just how invested he is in the youngster's return. Trust me, I just can't wait for Gavi to come back. I can see the amazing quality he has in training. We wait for him. For the €90 million rated midfielder, his upcoming return will be a massive deal. Having been sidelined for around a year following his ACL injury last year, Gavi aims to be back in the best shape possible for Barcelona and help take Hansi Flick's team to a whole new level if possible. Simply put, Gavi is the perfect option for a coach like Hansi Flick. On paper, the Spaniard checks off every single box when it comes to the kind of players that Flick likes to operate with. Tenacious, relentless, technically gifted, and motivated, Gavi is all of these things combined and so much more. His return is now just one step away as he continues to increase the intensity with which he is currently training. When that day arrives, however, it will surely be a joyous moment for every single fan and club member of FC Barcelona. Spanish police briefly arrested Manchester City midfielder and Portugal international Matheus Nunes last month for allegedly stealing a mobile phone. A police source told Reuters on Wednesday, confirming a report in El Mundo newspaper. Nunes forced a high-end phone out of the hands of a 58-year-old man in a Madrid nightclub, believing that the man had taken a picture of Nunes without his consent in the bathroom. El Mundo said. Asked about the arrest, a police spokesperson in Madrid said a Portuguese citizen had been arrested on Sept. 8 at 5:30 am. in a downtown nightclub for alleged robbery of a high-end phone. After being questioned at a police station, the man was released pending trial. Wojciech Szczesny, the former Arsenal and Juventus goalkeeper, has signed a contract with Barcelona until the end of the season. This surprising move comes just over a month after his retirement from professional football. The 34-year-old Polish international announced his retirement on August 27, following the termination of his contract with Juventus. Girona 1-0 Feyenoord. Neither Girona nor Feyenoord have enjoyed positive starts to the campaign either domestically or on the European stage. Both are searching for their first win and will be keen to avoid having to play catch-up. Shakhtar Donetsk 0-2 Atalanta. Atalanta held Arsenal to a draw in their Champions League opener and will fancy their chances of picking up their first win of the campaign against a struggling Shakhtar side. Aston Villa 2-2 Bayern Munich this week. Aston Villa against Bayern Munich is a repeat of the famous 1982 final. Both clubs started well on matchday 1, although nobody was better than Bayern and their 9 goals. Benfica 1 Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid make the short trip over to Portugal, where they will face 2-time former champions and 5-time runners-up Benfica, where the spoils could be shared. Dinamo Zagreb 1-2 Monaco. Bottom of the pile is Dinamo Zagreb after their annihilation last time out, but taking anything off. The Monaco side that has beaten Barcelona twice in 5 weeks will be a battle. Lille 1-2 Real Madrid. Real Madrid return to the stage and are looking to make it back-to-back wins as they travel to northeastern France to face Lille. Los Blancos were held to a draw in the Madrid derby at the weekend. Liverpool 3-1 Bologna. A brand new fixture is a first ever meeting between Liverpool and Bologna, the latter competing in the European Cup for the first time since 1964 when the Beatles were taking over the world. RB Leipzig 1-1 Juventus. Juventus will hope to build on last month's opening win, but it will be tough against RB Leipzig in Germany. The Serie side has shown a tendency to settle for draws rather than risk losing everything in search of a winner. UK Osaka is convinced this will be the season that Arsenal beat Manchester City to the Premier League title. Saka 23 made the claim following Arsenal's impressive 2-0 Champions League win against Paris Germain at the Emirates. Standing captain Saka doubled the host's advantage with 10 minutes of the first half remaining after Kai Havertz had headed the opener. Saka, speaking on CBS, replied, I don't want to put too much pressure on us, but I do think this is the year. We have been close for the past 2 years and we are getting closer. But yes, hopefully this will be the year. There is a lot of hunger in my belly. In previous years we have finished runners-up, but that spirit in me is that I want to win this season and I believe in myself a lot. Our rivals tonight were much better in terms of intensity, in terms of pressure. They won every duel. Enrique's side in his post-match press conference, a technically gifted but diminutive PSG team squashed underfoot by Arteta's Giants. Effectively, after the second goal Arsenal scored, they decided to defend a bit more deeply, take a few risks. Arsenal deserved their victory. Really, it's impossible to come out of a game with a positive result if you don't manage to win any duel on the pitch. According to a report by Spanish outlet Fishage, Sergio Gomez is the subject of interest from Manchester City. The Premier League champion sold the Spanish fullback to La Liga club Real Sociedad in the summer transfer window. However, the informed defender's impressive displays have forced them to mull over triggering the buyback clause worth €20 million to re-sign him in 2025. After seeing red during Manchester United's abysmal 3-0 defeat to Tottenham, captain Bruno Fernandes has come under fire. The Red Devils came into the season looking to start afresh, with manager Erik ten Hag handed a lifeline in the form of a one-year contract extension while their squad was bolstered following the arrival of new owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe. But 7 points in 6 games has the club in panic mode. No player better epitomises such a disorganised and confident lacking team than their captain Fernandes, whose pitiful displays so far this season, and read for his high challenge on James Maddison, which was later appealed against successfully. Are reminiscent of the criticism he earned after a shocking start to the 2022-23 campaign. A Champions League winner has posed a question to Brendan Rodgers after the latest Celtic battering for his side in Europe. Former boss Neil Lennon was also on the broadcast and added, "I didn't expect Celtic to win. I expected them to give a good account of themselves with the form that they have and expected them to score, which they did, but they let the game get away from them. They were far too passive with their passive and didn't do the dirty bits of the game well enough. They weren't physical enough, too nice. They didn't turn Dortmund at all and they kept playing the same way." According to TB or Football, Aston Villa had scouts in place to watch Middlesbrough's Hayden Hackney and Rav van den Berg against West Brom at the Hawthorns on Tuesday evening. The representatives from Villa were there to look at both West Brom and Borough, but they looked closely at Hackney in particular, who has been very impressive in the Championship this season. Hackney, who has been labelled as immense by his manager Michael Carrick, scored the only goal on Tuesday, and it would be no surprise to see him turning out in the top flight next season. It appears that his form has caught the attention of Villa, who were joined by scouts from Nottingham Forest and Wolves. Van den Berg meanwhile joined Borough in the summer of 2023 and was an important performer for them last season. The defender has missed the last few games through injury, but made his third start in the league on Tuesday as Borough picked up a huge result. He may be someone that Villa look to bring in as a long-term replacement for Diego Carlos, who put in a struggling performance against Ipswich Town and hasn't really nailed down a place during his time at Villa Park. Manchester United have been significantly boosted on the injury front ahead of a crucial fixture doubleheader against Porto and Aston Villa this week. The Dutchman has been handed some positive team news ahead of that game, with Kobbie mainly training as normal with the rest of the squad before the flight to Portugal on Wednesday. One player joining Manu in contention for that latest Europa League assignment is Harry Maguire, who was absent from the matchday squad entirely against Tottenham with a knock sustained in training. The Man United boss told Sky Sports the details of his talks with Sir Jim Ratcliffe after the defeat against Ange Postecoglou's side. He said, "We're talking continually, but we are talking about how we can improve the process. We are all very impatient, and our fans are, and they are entitled to, but we are definitely as well. We want to win every game, and when we are losing, everyone is disappointed, frustrated, but it's also our fuel to get better." Bayer Leverkusen eked out a narrow, albeit well-deserved 1-0 home win against Milan in Tuesday's blockbuster Champions League clash. Xabi Alonso gave credit to the Rossoneri for causing us problems after posting another European victory. Alonso admits Milan put their work self through a lot of trouble, but it's hardly any consolation, with the Italian giants' chances of securing automatic knockout qualification taking another significant blow. Liverpool legend Mohamed Salah could leave the club at the end of the season, with his options having been laid out. Meanwhile, both Aston Villa and West Ham United are looking to snap up the young striker who currently plays for Valencia. Real Madrid and PSG have expressed an interest in making a move for Liverpool icon Mohamed Salah when his current deal runs out at the end of the season, according to 4Football. However, he is set to snub European clubs in favour of a move to Saudi Arabia. Both Aston Villa and West Ham United are looking to make a move for Valencia forward Hugo Duro, according to a report from Spanish outlet Fishes. So far this season, Duro has played in 6 games in all competitions, scoring 2 goals along the way at the age of 24. His best years are still well ahead of him.